Saturday. The Crossland haunted house really got me thinking. Those guys were charging $5 a pop, and the line stretched halfway around the school. I decided to make a haunted house of my own. Actually, I had to bring Rolly in on the deal because Mom wouldn't let me convert our first floor into a full-out haunted mansion. I knew Rolly's dad wouldn't be crazy about the idea either, so we decided to build the haunted house in his basement and just to not mention it to his parents. Me and Rolly spent most of the day coming up with an awesome plan for our haunted house. This was our final plan. Hall of Scream, Lake of Blood, Bottomless Pit, Red Tunnel, Maze of 1000 Skulls, Knife Alley, Hand Hole, Dead Slide, Exit Lake, and Exit. I don't mean to brag or anything, but what we came up with was way better than the Crossland High School haunted house. We realized we were gonna need to get the word out that we were doing this thing, so we got some paper and made up a bunch of flyers. I admit maybe we stretched the truth a little in our advertisement, but we had to make sure people actually show up. Haunted house with live sharks, 32 Surrey Street, admission 50 cents, 3 p.m. By the time we finished putting the flyers up around the neighbor and got back to Rolly's basement, it was already 2:30, and we hadn't even started putting the actually haunted house together yet, so we had to cut some corners from our original plan. When 3 p.m. rolled around, we looked outside to see if anyone had showed up, and sure enough, there were about 20 neighborhood kids waiting in the outside Rolly's basement. Now I know our flyer said admission was 50 cents, but I could see that we had a chance to make a killing here. So I told the kids that admission was $2 and the 50 cents thing was just a typo. The first kid to come up his $2 was Shane Snella. He paid his money and we let him inside, and me and Wally took our position in the Hall of Screams. The Hall of Screams was basically a bed with me and Wally on either side of it. Rah! Squeal! Rah! I guess maybe we made the Hall of Scream little too scary, because halfway through, Shane curled up in a ball underneath the bed. We tried to get him to crawl out from under there, but he wouldn't budge. I started thinking about all the money we were losing with this kid clogging up the Hall of Screams, and I knew we had to get him out of there quick. Eventually, Rolly's dad came downstairs at first. I was happy to see him because I thought he could help us drag Shane out from under the bed and get our haunted house cranking again. But Rolly's dad wasn't really in a helpful mood. Rolly's dad wanted to know what we were doing and why Shane Sheila was curled up under the bed. We told him that the basement was a haunted house and that Shane Sheila actually paid for us to do this to him. But Rolly's dad didn't believe us. I admit that if you look around, it didn't really look like a haunted house. All we had time to put together was the Hall of Scream and the Lake of Blood, which was just Rolly's old baby who with half a bottle of ketchup in it. I tried to show Rolly that our original plan to prove that we were running a legitimate operation, but he still didn't seem convinced. And to make a long story short, that was the end of our haunted house. The good news is, since Rolly's dad didn't believe us, he didn't make us refund Shane's money, so at least we cleared $2 today. Sunday, Rolly ended up getting grounded for that whole haunted house mess yesterday. He's not allowed to watch TV for a week, and he's not allowed to have me over at his house during that time. That last part really isn't fair because that's punishing me, and I didn't even do anything wrong. And now, where am I supposed to play my video games? Anyway, I felt kind of bad for Rolly, so tonight I tried to make it up to him. I turned on one of Rolly's favorite TV shows and I did a play-by-play over the phone so he could kind of experience it that way. Wow, look at the size of that flame trip. Oh yeah, never mind. I did my best to keep up with what was going on the screen, but to be honest with you, I'm not sure if Rolly was getting the full effect. I bet this part is gonna be funny. Whoop, haha, I was right. It was right. Funny. Then